Welcome back to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we do another deep dive into Shudder. And with that, let's get to the list. VHS Beyond is a 2024 found footage sci-fi horror anthology. It's the 7th installment in the VHS franchise, with segments directed by Jordan Downey, Christian and Justin Long, Justin Martinez, Virat Pal, Kate Segal, and Jay Chio. 6 tapes unleash horror in a sci-fi inspired hellscape, pushing the boundaries of fear and suspense. So this just came out and I watched it last night and I loved it. It's like a lot of the other VHS movies though, where some of the segments really work and others are just kind of okay. There were 2 in particular that really stood out for me in this. Justin Martinez and Kate Segal. Both their segments were incredible. Kate Segal's segment was written by Mike Flanagan and it has to do with a woman who is trying to make a documentary, maybe for a YouTube channel or something like that, on aliens and trying to get evidence and stuff like that. And it goes wild. It's just really amazing looking. There's some extremely creative and unique visuals and special effects that are done in it. But just overall, it was breathtaking. And the way it ends is just fantastic. But the one that really stood out the most for me was Justin Martinez. It's amazing. It's to do with skydivers and some stuff happens. I don't want to give anything away because it just goes insano mode. I mean, there are so many crazy, gory, fantastical elements in it. It's so much fun. I also enjoyed Justin Long's. It wasn't mind-blowing, but it was very fun, and it has some really off-the-wall, bizarre elements and moments to it. Either way, I found myself very entertained. It's gory, it's brutal, it's funny. It has everything you would want in a VHS movie, so definitely put it on your list. Revenge is a 2017 French action horror movie. Written and directed by Corley Fergit, it stars Matilda Lutz, Kevin Janssens, and Vincent Colombi. The plot follows a young woman who is sexually assaulted and left for dead in the desert by 3 men, where she recovers and seeks vengeance on her attackers. So the entire horror world, including myself, have been so excited with The Substance. It is probably my favorite movie this year. It's bananas. It's so much fun, but it's brutal and gory. It has so many things that I love, but not everybody knows about her other movie, this one. So if you were a fan of that, you definitely need to check this one out because Corley Fergit is just getting started, but she started out here and it is so much fun. I've never said that about a movie that deals with such a horrible, dark subject as sexual assault, but the way it's put together and the way that it's handled, it's just badass. Like this woman and what she does and just the way it all plays out is so entertaining. As dark and upsetting as the subject matter is, the way it's handled is so refreshing and exciting, and it turns into a very fun cat and mouse, action-packed kind of thriller, and does some things and goes in directions that were very surprising, but you could see even in this how creative of a filmmaker she is. But it's ballsy, it's gory, it's exciting, it's colorful. Everything about how it's shot and edited are creative. It's just a fantastic movie that's definitely worth your time.
Everyone must know he's here.
Daddy's Head is a 2024 horror movie, written and directed by Benjamin Barfoot. It stars Rupert Turnbull, Julia Brown, and Charles Aiken. A boy and his stepmother fear for their safety after an eerie creature resembling the boy's recently deceased father visits them.
What are you looking at? Isaac. Dad. He's in the forest, hiding in trees. His body's different.
So this comes out on October 11th, and it's one that I'm really excited for. I've heard great things about it. People at Fantastic Fest were able to see it and definitely raved about it. But on top of that, the trailer looks just so creepy, and it's creature feature elements to it. And I'm all in. Anytime I hear creature feature horror movie, that's all that has to be said. So it just looks well shot and well directed and just a well produced movie. So I'm definitely excited to see this.
As I've always believed, there's nothing that can't be explained.
Oddity is a 2024 supernatural horror movie, written and directed by Damian McCarthy. It stars Carolyn Bracken, Gwilym Lee, and Tang Murphy. It's about a blind medium who tries to uncover the truth behind her sister's death with the help of her psychic abilities.
Why do you want it?
He took my sister's life. I want to see what was going through his mind.
This is another favorite of mine from this year. I was able to see it in theaters a couple months ago, so I'm really excited that it's finally available now to a wider audience on Shudder. But this is one of the first movies in a long time that really got to me. And I'm not saying it terrified me or anything like that, but there were a couple moments in this that got a genuine jump out of me, a genuine feeling of fear, and I felt on edge and full of tension throughout. And with as many movies as I see, that just doesn't happen all the time anymore. But it's not that it's the most original movie ever made or anything like that. It's not like it's things you haven't seen, but it's how it's executed. The way it looks, the style of it, the pacing of it, the way it's edited just feels so creepy and unnerving. But it's also beautifully shot, well performed. The set design, the props, the way the different creepy objects look, especially in the curio shop that this woman works at, it just all jumps off the screen. And I'm also a big fan of Damian McCarthy's other film, Caveat. That was his first one. This is the follow-up. And both these just blew me away. So not only am I recommending this, I think you should make it a double feature and throw on Caveat as well. I think it would make for a great, creepy, moody evening this Halloween season. Mads is a 2024 French horror movie. Directed by David Moreau, it stars Xiomara Melissa Ahumadaquito, Lucille Guami, and Lori Pavey. A teenager who stops off to see his dealer to test a new drug before heading off for a night of partying. On his way home, picks up an injured woman, and the night takes a surreal turn. So this comes out on October 18th, and it's another one I've heard great things about. The trailer makes it look like it's gonna go in wild directions, but the selling point, the thing that everybody's talking about with this, is that the entire movie is one take. And from what I know, there's no cuts. It's legitimately one take. So we'll see. It sounds interesting, and from the trailer, it looks cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Animals don't get too hung up on reason. They just keep killing.
In a Violent Nature is a 2024 slasher horror movie. Written and directed by Chris Nash, it stars Ryan Barrett, Andrea Pavlovic, and Charlotte Cregan. It follows a mute killer who targets a group of teenagers in the Ontario wilderness, with the events largely observed from the killer's point of view. So I have a lot of mixed feelings when it comes to this movie, because on one hand, I love that we have an old school slasher. It feels like The Burning. It feels like the OG Friday the 13th movies. Like it has that DNA on it. And so I love that element. I also really appreciate them experimenting and trying new things. But a lot of it just felt slow and boring and methodical. And I understand that that was the point of it. There is a sense of humor in a way to what they're trying to do here. I get all that. And it wasn't that I hated this movie by any means. It just, like I said, it gets tedious at times. You start to be antsy and be like, okay, let's do something. But where this movie really shines is the brutality and the kills, and also the look of the killer. I really like his look as well, but the kills are some of the best kills we've seen in a long time. I mean, the one in particular is the yoga kill that you've heard a lot of people talking about. And I won't say anything beyond that, because if you haven't seen this movie yet, I definitely want to leave that up for you to be surprised, but it is definitely a memorable one. But if you like gory, creative kills, and you're willing to be patient and follow this killer as he walks through the woods, this is one you definitely should check out.
We're just getting started.
Give me the knife! Get out of here, you murderers! I am the vessel!
So cold.
The Sacrifice Game is a 2023 horror movie. Directed by Jen Wexler, it stars Mina Masad, Olivia Scott-Welch, and Madison Baines. It's bad enough that boarding school students Samantha and Clara can't go home for the holidays, but things take a deadly turn when a murderous gang arrives on their doorstep.
There's something special about this place.
It smells good in here. Christmas dinner?
You did such a lovely job.
I don't know why nobody's talking about this movie. I don't understand. It's a blast. It's creative, it's creepy, it gets evil and demonic and goes in just wild directions. It's surprising. The way it all unfolds definitely caught me off guard. I love the look of it, the style of it. It's just a fun movie. It is a smaller production kind of film, so it's not anything that's necessarily going to blow your mind, but it's entertaining and it deserves a lot more attention than it's getting. I really enjoyed the cast especially. I thought they all do a great job in this. But it goes for it, especially in the final act, and is definitely worth seeing.
Where are you hiding from?
You'll Never Find Me is a 2023 Australian horror movie. Written and directed by Indiana Bell and Josiah Allen. It stars Brendan Rock, Jordan Cohen, and Alina Karpaitis. A strange and lonely man lives in a mobile home park, but during a violent storm, a mysterious young woman appears at his door, seeking shelter from the elements.
I'm sorry. The weather has gone crazy out there. Is it okay if I use your phone?
This movie is so haunting. It's so creepy and unnerving. It is a slow burn. It's the definition of slow burn. You got to be patient as this unfolds. It's not anything with big explosions and crazy set pieces. This is a very small, situational kind of horror movie. It is mostly just two people in one room talking. But it is far from boring. The dialogue, the way these two perform, and everything that unfolds in that are just absolutely captivating. Out of all the movies I've seen this year, this is one of the few that has just really stuck with me. The feeling that you're left with after watching this, just this haunting, uncomfortable, disturbing vibe that it has is just really powerful. So if you haven't seen this yet and you enjoy slow burns, this is one that I highly recommend. Azrael is a 2024 action horror movie. Directed by E.L. Katz, it stars Samara Weaving, Victoria Carmen's son, and Nathan Stewart Jarrett. Years after the rapture, in a world where no one speaks, a devout female-led community hunts down a young woman who has escaped imprisonment. Recaptured, Azrael is due to be sacrificed to an ancient evil in the wilderness, but fights back for her own survival. I just saw this in theaters maybe a week ago, and I really enjoyed it. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be on my top 10 of the year or anything like that. But as far as an entertaining, interesting, and creative little gem, this is a good one. Because the fact that there's no dialogue, yes, it's kind of a gimmick, but it actually makes sense in this world in the way that it's done because it's part of the story. It's not just this weird thing where there's no dialogue. Like, it actually makes sense. I don't want to give anything away and explain exactly why it makes sense in the plot, but it does. And the way that it's handled, the way they communicate with hand signals and whistles, that was also creative. I really appreciated and enjoyed the set design, the way things look. They're all surviving in this forest, in these tent kind of little buildings and stuff. It just felt authentic, it felt lived in, and I really appreciated the art design behind that as well. But the main reason to see this is Samara Weaving. She is perfectly cast in this, and she just goes buck wild in this. If you enjoyed her performance in Ready or Not, this is the same kind of thing, but ramped up to even more of a level because she's more of a badass in this than she was in Ready or Not. But this isn't going to be for everyone, but I do recommend that if you watch this and you feel a little confused after the fact or don't have all the answers you would like, just do a little research into it because there are biblical implications here, things that are directly from the Bible that will kind of give it a little bit of context and made this movie even more enjoyable to me after I had seen it. But it comes out on October 25th, and I think it's one you should definitely give a look. Satanic Hispanics is a 2022 horror anthology with segments directed by Mike Mendez, Demian Rugna, and others. It stars Efren Ramirez, Jonah Ray, and Greg Grunberg. When police break into a house in El Paso, they find it filled with dead bodies and a lone survivor known as the Traveler. So he is taken to the police station for questioning.
Problem is sometimes the portals don't close once they're open. If I don't leave here within the next 90 minutes, we are all going to be dead.
I would say, out of all the anthologies in the last couple years, this is my favorite. Probably since maybe Mortuary Collection. Like, this one is so much fun. But there are a couple segments in it especially that really shine. And I mean, that's the way it is with most anthologies. But if you're a fan of Demian Rugna and his 2 movies he did, Terrified and then last year When Evil Lurks, then you definitely need to see this because his segment in it is just horrifying. It has everything that you would expect from Demian Rugna. It's uncomfortable, it's creepy, it's gross, it'll make your skin crawl, and it'll definitely stick with you. But this whole thing, there's funny elements, there's exciting elements, there's creepy. It runs the entire gambit of what you would hope for in an anthology horror movie. And I think it's a perfect pick for this Saturday night. So do yourself a favor this holiday season, guys. Pick one of the movies off of this list, grab your popcorn and your candy corn, and enjoy! And I want to give a huge, massive, enormous thank you to the Ghost Pirate crew, to you guys over on Patreon, and to the channel members over here. You guys mean so much to me. And if you would like to help support this channel over on Patreon, there's a link down in the description. Or you can become a channel member by clicking on the join button down there and help support the channel that way. But like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, guys, horror can be fun! And if you enjoyed this, click right here to see me talk about the best movies right now over on Hulu. And I'll see you guys next time!